There's no place to escape to.
This is the last podcast.
On the left.
Side stories.
From your blade.
That's when the cannibalism started.
Side stories.
Yes. Oh, I'm some kind of clown, huh? I'm some kind of clown who's here supposed to amuse you, huh?
Yes, you are.
I accept.
You accept?
Thank you for this job. Thank you for giving me a purpose in this life. All I've ever wanted to be a clown. I've never understood the people that were clowns early on and then became like real serious. Then they started making movies that have like just colors in the name. When it comes down to being like, didn't you just love being the clown? Don't you just want to be there and toss up the balls and have a floppy hat on and have everyone just be like, thank you for your screams.
Well, and as we learned from France's favorite comedian, Jerry Lewis, sometimes being serious gets your film banned forever. So don't bother.
Apparently the clown who cried, it was barely serious.
Oh.
And that there are full extensive comedic bits in it, which is a part of why it didn't do as well.
Because it was the
for some reason,
Holocaust. Yeah.
Yeah, but Roberto Bernini also did his stupid little hat thing.
That was a
little Life is Beautiful.
We will disagree about that forever. I thought that was beautiful, and I liked when he climbed over all the stairs at the Oscars. It was the last time I cared what a celebrity did at an award show. It was 1990, whatever, and that little Italian struck a chord in a fat Ben Kissel Midwestern heart, and I said, I just want to be like that man who survived the Holocaust.
That's
True humor.
One Italian I'll let live.
Absolutely. Hey, what's up, everyone? I don't know why I said absolutely to that.
You didn't. You agreed.
Welcome to Side Stories, everyone. I am Ben, hanging out with Henry. Hope everyone is doing well out there. I'm doing great because I've been doing nothing but looking at prison food videos. Evidently, a lot of prisoners now have cell phones inside of the can, and they show us what they're eating. And I'm just going to say it is not chef's kiss cuisine. It looks to be like if Ratatouille was also a serial murderer and he was also the head chef. It's not good.
We just have to do everything possible to not go to prison, Kissel.
Yeah.
We have to do everything possible because you and I, if we went in together, we could have fun.
I don't know.
Think about this. You and me together in the mess hall, we would have fun.
I think that they would play nuts to butts with us, and they would insert you into me and me into you, vice versa, whatever the day was. And then they would say, Master Blaster. And then you would have to get on my shoulders, and then I would have to pretend to be really dumb. But then you would also have to pretend to be very powerful. And then that would be fun for you until we play.
Yeah.
Oh my God, as a matter of fact, then we play of mice and men, and then you kill. I don't like these games anymore. The big man has been tormented for too long.
Because you are too big by God's law. And that's why you are always punished by society, punished by nature. It's not my fault that I was born perfect. Because look at me, perfect body, breasts of a 25-year-old influencer. Woo. I've got the legs of a 60-year-old man on a yacht.
Yes,
I'm the best. I'm the best I've ever been. But I do think though, we'd have fun in our own way if we went. Because I don't know if it's true or not. This is sidestorieslpotl@gmail.com. If you have been a prisoner, is it good in prison to have a gimmick?
Well, apparently, I did get a DM from one prisoner. Evidently, I did talk about this on the Alcatraz episode when it comes to the Birdman of Alcatraz. When you are a snitch, you don't go to protective custody per se. You go to a separate unit. So I did learn that. I've also been watching a lot of EOS, a.k.a. End of Sentence, on YouTube. He did Hard Time. He's a white Crip. And
He's a white Crip,
so they're allowed sometimes. And he talks a lot about what goes on in the inner workings of prison. At the end of the day, you know, the number one rule? Be respectful. Otherwise, you're going to be violently hurt.
I know that game. I know what it'd be like. Yes, sir, Mr. Cannibal, sir. Hi, hello. Oh, want to hear my impression of the warden? Because that's how I get in. I do impressions of the warden. I do everybody's favorite jail guard. I go like, I do food reviews. I go like, it's been like, this is not even fit for Chester the molester. And the molester's like, that's me. Oh, I'm the molester. And everyone's like, everybody hates that guy, right? Let's go get that guy today. Hey, everybody, let's go band together and beat the fuck out of that child molester today, huh?
Well, either way, I think you nailed it.
Have you been watching the Gacy documentary series on Peacock?
Yes. Speaking of clowns, I have watched a bit of the Gacy documentary, and I have to admit, even though we covered him, even though I have heard about him for my entire life, I still forget every time how brutal he was. And it's interesting talking, because there's a generation of boys, obviously this is the late 70s. It's interesting talking or hearing them talk now as men, talking about very similar to how your mother talks about Son of Sam, where she changed her hair color, she got a haircut. Whole thing. But for the young boys, they all talked about how this was the end of their innocence. They realized the boogeyman was real. And I think that perspective of the male young victim and how that translates for the rest of their lives, many of them got into law enforcement because of it, how that translates, I liked it. I thought there were some interesting new things in a very well-treaded story.
Gacy, I realized, because, we covered him back in the day, and there is a lot to sort of, we make fun of these motherfuckers. He is a chubby-faced moron.
Yes.
But that is, though, this time upon rewatching and seeing him talk so much, you just forget, like, man, was he actually very dangerous.
Very dangerous.
The bald-faced lies, him being able to sit there, and up until he was executed, fighting, saying, I didn't do this, I had nothing to do with this, it was somebody else, incorporating more and more of his very ornate, very bald lies.
Yep.
Like, just it couldn't be more of a pathological liar. And you watch it being like, it doesn't even move the needle. He couldn't access his own genuine self if he wanted to. He had no access to emotions whatsoever. He was just this sphere. And the way because he even talked to me, he's like, they made a big deal about calling me, saying that I was crazy when I went into prison, because the first thing they asked me, they're like, oh, we want to speak to Mr. Gacy. And I said, oh, do you want to speak to Gacy the clown? Do you want to speak to Gacy the contractor? Do you want to speak to Gacy the undercover cop? And they're all like, what? And it was like, oh, you told them you had multiple personalities. You lied to try to get an insanity plea throughout all of this bullshit. Meanwhile, you sat. Talk about also the symbolism of control, sitting on top of 29 bodies.
Well, not just that as well, not just him. I also didn't quite realize how big the parties were at his house. They were talking about how they would have 200 people sometimes. And this is when the crawl spaces were just starting to fill up. So maybe you have 15, 18. I mean, I believe there was a total of 26 there and a couple in the river.
It was 29 under the house, and then there was 4 in the river.
So there was not just it was so many others, and just a strange, like, you imagine.
They all became complicit.
They all became complicit.
They all partied on top of a graveyard.
But they became victims as well, because,
of course,
and that was another thing that I thought the documentary, we'll get to a news story here in a second, but I thought the documentary did a good job of extrapolating how, like, it wasn't, obviously the victims are key, but then everything else that blossomed out, the nuclear explosion that was John Wayne Gacy's life. My God, it is fascinating. So check that documentary out on Peacock. Although I wish they
try to pirate it. I would say try to pirate it. Try to download it.
I'm a Peacock because I had to get Peacock because they have the WWE Network and they got me, and I'm upset, and I'm not talking about it because this is not kind of fun, my wrestling show. But when they could have done 10 minutes on the one boy that was inspired by his clowning, though. The one time where John Wayne Gacy showed up at an 8th grade birthday party, and he clowned so good, and a boy had one single teardrop, and then that boy went on to vaudeville or went on to storm the Capitol on January 6th after being on Mr. Show. Whatever it might be, he must have inspired at least one entertainer.
Oh, of course.
That's all I'm saying.
Like, oh, look, you don't have to have any talent to be a clown.
Oh, you are. I actually think he was quite talented because the reviews were in and the reviews were hot.
It sounded like he put it on. Again, all of his jokes sound like they were never actually very funny. In the end, they were just, well, he's decided to do this. He is volunteering his time to be a clown. So they're not going to be like, get out of here, you fucking talentless clown. Because technically he has arrived to make cancer children laugh. But guess what? I don't think cancer kids even like clowns. I think they like women with huge breasts.
You know what, bro? I'm with you on that. Basketball hit it on the head. Although cancer kids like women with huge breasts, I suppose, or John Cena, or any kind of professional wrestler. And I have to say this: I wish I could be a celebrity athlete for one day to say, cancer child, I'm going to make your wish come true. He said, man, I hope you hit the 3-pointer at the buzzer. I don't know why he sounds like Puffin. And I'll say, okay, young kid. And I do it. And then the kid dies, and that's his last memory. And then I am the final memory, and the final thing that he experienced on Earth was pure joy.
You know, technically, the flip reverse side of that is John Wayne Gacy, who was actually the last memory a lot of those little boys had. Oof. But their last memories were total terror. But it's also weird about your wanting to control their last memory is a weird controlling impulse.
No, I don't want. I want them to have fun for their last memory before they go off to the pearly
They should go on a roller coaster. Technically, you should put all those kids on a roller coaster, let them die on there.
That is one way to do it, and of course you can go to Six Flags now. John Wayne Gacy, check out the documentary.
Six Flags is open.
All right, self-clap for Henry Zebrowski. I'm just going to hop right into a news story here because we're talking about John Wayne Gacy. I'm actually going to keep it light to start because we've been talking about stuffed animal, rather. Evidently, this is not just about stuffed animals when it comes to people having sex with them. This is not just about stuffed animals. This is not just about the characters from Frozen. Evidently, Elmo is also in the sexual mix.
I want to know what Elmo was wearing in this room.
Nothing, to be fair, and he is demanding to be tickled.
But look at this. So this comes from The Smoking Gun. This story is just, why do we let anybody into our homes?
I don't know. This guy, Kevin Wayne Van Leuven, he's 59. He was arraigned this week on misdemeanor charges because he was found on camera. It was a camera in the home, specifically where the infant sleeps in the nursery. And evidently he was having sex with their Elmo doll. And again, I just can't you buy your own? Is there something with somebody else's Elmo doll that makes it more erotic, do you think? Because why not just go buy a Tickle Me Elmo?
I don't fucking know, Kissel. And I don't know why. In 2021, how many months has it been? 4? I want to say this is the 4th story this year we have covered. And that's why we're even bringing it back up. Because what is happening? Last year it was the Family Annihilators. This is people having sex with plushie dolls.
Well, here we go. That's not as bad as Family Annihilators, to be fair.
I guess it's getting better.
We're improving a little bit. That's not so bad.
Guess. All right, so here we go. This comes from The Smoking Gun. While unaware he was being recorded by a nursery camera, a Michigan home inspector pleasured himself with an Elmo doll. Kevin Wayne Van Leuven, 59, feeling not so fine, was arraigned yesterday on a pair of misdemeanor charges, which is still, I can't believe it's a misdemeanor.
What do you think that should be a felony?
Incident. I don't know, dude. I think there should be a third category that says you need a timeout. Yeah, a yucky crime department where you need a timeout from anything good. Like, you shouldn't be allowed to have a fried chicken sandwich for 20 years. No, investigators say Van Leuven had been hired by the home's owners to inspect their property prior to sale. For if you guys are, those of you that have a house or know, like, what you do is you buy a house or you're trying to buy a house, and in the middle of that whole scenario, you normally will have somebody who comes and They inspect the house to make sure that it's up to code, to kind of find out whether or not it's worth the amount of money that the people that are selling the house say that it's worth. And you figure out all the kind of mold remediation, all this kind of bullshit, right?
My buddy in Minneapolis just did that. And believe it or not, most home inspectors are there at the behest of the person who's about to be buying the house. And it ends up they find a lot of problems, air quotes problems, and then they slowly knock money off of the price. And that is kind of the job of the home inspector.
Unless they in certain cases, if they don't catch problems, then you find out you have like a massive systemic problem in your house. You don't know it until it's after you own it. That didn't just happen to me. But with this guy, so the owners told the police that they let Van Leuven in with the buyer's real estate agent into the home, then departed the residence during the March 12th inspection. While away from the property, a 22-year-old female homeowner, she received a alert on her phone that a webcam had detected movement in the resident's nursery, which I imagine would be you'd be very scared if that popped up on your phone.
This is the beginning or the middle or perhaps the end of a lot of horror movies. You have a nursery, you detect movement, you say, I'm not in there, my baby's not in there, what could be happening? And then sure enough, you look at your phone and you see a man inserting his penis into your child's Elmo doll. Now,
So
I'm
it
going to
looks
say
like
this.
I'm going to say this. Let me say that apparently there's steps here, Kissel.
Okay.
Because he didn't just start with the Elmo. Apparently, she turned on her phone. She watched him he started jerking off solo, standing in a nursery.
Can I just say this about... Can I just say this about phones? Maybe have a talk back. Like, I just want if I'm watching somebody jerk off in my home, I just want to hit a button and just be like, and now he can hear me. Like, sir, could you? I see you, sir.
Yeah, that would be incredible. But he'd go like, yeah. He immediately do. So this is also, I don't have this power of imagination anymore. I have to look at porn or look at something or look at kind of like, I have to dredge up a memory if I'm going to masturbate when it comes down to it. But this man just stood into a nursery, pulled out his dick dry, just started jerking off. And then all of a sudden, he looked at an Elmo doll sitting in the corner, and he's like, finally, a helper. He picked up the Elmo doll and then had sex with the Elmo doll afterwards.
All right. So you might be wondering, what is the fine for something like this, other than the most important fine that you can't monetize, which is the fine of public shame. And this is why bringing back the stocks, just bringing back, I suppose this is a version of the stocks, yucky crimes, where it's just let the world know the man doesn't belong in prison forever, whatever. He is someone who is obviously very ill, but just let the neighborhood know that if you have a toy, lock him up when he's around, and don't allow this man in your home anymore. That would
you have some very I feel like you put the yucky crime division. You put a guy in the stocks for a couple of days. He's then forced to speak to some very self-serious anchor, right? Like I'm trying to think someone that everybody likes, but also was like kind of mean.
Like when Kramer had to apologize to Jerry Seinfeld and David Letterman for being racist.
Yes.
Like that. Very awkward where the audience kind of laughs at first and then Jerry has to be like, no, this is serious.
This is serious. No, you need to have somebody that maybe everybody likes, or like, who's a good celebrity?
Larry David. I think that Larry David confessed to Larry.
I think it's either him or like Rachel McAdams, like a very beautiful faced actress. So we're all forced to see her reaction when you get the things out and she goes like, why did you do this? Why Elmo? Are you sexually attracted to Elmo, the child monster? Because Elmo's a child monster.
He is. I agree with you on that. Okay, well,
but that might actually make other people masturbate.
I'm gonna take it, but I'm gonna give it to Octavia Spencer, because I feel like her reaction would be Oscar winning when she's like, "What did you do?" Okay.
Yes. Anyway, that's the person. That's
so
who it is.
The man looks as if he is like if Butthead grew up and had sex with an Elmo doll in a nursery. That's what he looks like. He is being charged with with malicious destruction of property under $200. Now, if I was his defense lawyer, I would say, was it malicious destruction of property?
It's sexual romance.
It's Elmo. So that was the only, I would push back a little bit on that.
But that's the big crime here, is that he ruined a doll. I don't know if that's the crime here.
No, I think it was the doing it in somebody else's home in their nursery. And then I guess theoretically the kid would touch the doll if their parents didn't know. This is why smell every single stuffed animal you have in your house every single day.
No, put it nowhere near your face. Put it nowhere near your face. Just check it. Check it for crust.
To make things worse for this man, he is in the Oakland County Jail where he's being held on $2,500 bond. And again, I'm watching a lot of my little prison documentaries on YouTube. Prison reform is the most important. Criminal justice reform is the social issue of our lifetime. Slavery still exists. It's in our prison system. That being said, when you go to prison, they check your papers and they see if you're, they call them a chomo, child molester, or something like that. You go in there and you have fucked an Elmo doll. I don't know if that makes you the safest man in jail or the most preyed upon man in jail. Because if I was in jail, I wouldn't know do I beat you up or do I avoid? I don't know what to do with that.
I feel like you could give the guy a solid shove and be like, I got my eye on you. And they'd be like, no, you're walking around here and I'm staring at you. I'm with you all the time. And then you kind of because you could either lean into the joke. I mean, like, joke? Look, I got something else from the commissary, and you bring out another stuffed animal, like something like that. Be like, see, guys, it's funny. Being like, I'm not that guy anymore. I know that was 2 weeks ago, but I'm not that guy anymore.
Yeah, not that guy. Well, if things don't go well for him in court, assuming they won't, he faces up to 2 years in prison. So that is, I guess, no pillow is safe. He's going to start putting googly eyes on his bed, and But don't worry, this man still has the man still has his defenders. What I love is I fucking love the internet and just its bottomless, endless ability to, I don't even know what, it's just the takes that people have. This is a comment on the article. How could he be charged with indecent exposure? He was alone in a room. He didn't know there was a camera. That seems to be an unfair charge. Does it?
Like, he doesn't. Is it bad?
I think that might be that man. It might just be himself with multiple accounts, just being like with the emoji with your hands are up, with your palms to the heavens, and your face is just like, I don't know. Sometimes you just randomly get struck to fuck an Elmo doll. It just hasn't happened to us yet. And maybe honestly, what if it just happens one day where you walk into your home? I know you have some cool, demonic stuff. No. What if all of a sudden you just walk into your room, you get rock hard with the Dune figure that you got over Christmas when we did Hidden Presents. All of a sudden you look at your Dune figurine, you get rock hard, and you just have to do it.
I will go to a hospital.
I'll drive you.
I'll go to a hospital. Take me to a hospital.
Because you cannot tell Natalie.
No,
but you Natalie can tell me, though.
I would tell Natalie. I mean, Natalie already knows she's on the lookout for when she has to call the hospital. Because I've given her full permission. I was just like, at some point, I'll be mad if they come and they grab me and I'm going to be thrashing and shit. But in the end, I'm going to be like, thank you for calling them. Because maybe I had lost perspective on my afternoon.
Yes. Well, that'll be fantastic for all of us as we sit next to you at your bedside, and you'll just be like, did you bring chicken nuggets? How am I doing, guys? You're doing great, Henry.
That's how I ask. We're like, I obviously don't know how I'm doing. So I hope you guys can tell me that things are okay again, huh? Come on, guys. It's just me, buddy. It's me. Right. I'm not that guy anymore.
Either way, well, Van Leuven, he is looking at 2 years, as I said. So we'll see what happens.
Not the hero of the week.
No, he is not. This week's hero of the week is actually kind of a surprise, but we will celebrate anyone who does anything good, even if they're not necessarily folks that we are particularly close with. But anyway, let's move on.
Rise from your grave.
I just want to kind of briefly talk about the story just because I'd like to follow up with it when we know more about it. But obviously things are opening back up. And what has that led to? Immediately it's led to mass shootings. I think that there's been 4 in the last month. No one's doing anything about it. Why rush?
Well, in Georgia, you can register for a firearm online now. So there you go.
Oh, great. But this one comes from former NFL player Philip Adams. He murdered 5 people, his neighbors, including 2 children, and then he killed himself. This story, I want to find out whether or not CTE is connected to this or if there's something else. But he walked into a neighbor's house and he killed the whole family. The whole family.
Yeah, this was actually This was actually his doctor. So it was his doctor and his wife. And then, of course, their grandchildren that were killed by this man. The guy's name is Philip Adams. I believe he had a 6-year NFL career. Not that matters. Again, he killed 5 people, including 2 kids. And one of those people is himself as well. So he killed the family, and he also randomly killed a person who was just working on the home, who was fixing their, I believe, air conditioning. So he was just in the wrong spot at the wrong time. He dipped out to his mom's house. The cops followed him there or found him there. A standoff ensued, and he committed suicide. So this, I don't even know where to. It's very
scary.
It's just so. This story is just so sad.
Yeah, it's very sad. I also wonder, because I feel like there's interest because he's a former NFL player, and I think what I kind of know about NFL players is that it's a very difficult job, right? Where
oh my God, so intense.
You have to be very smart to be an NFL player because you have to know all the plays and it's a shifting environment and you have to be able to do all of these. It's a lot of memorization. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of prep going into each game. And so again, that's a part of it is that you look at somebody like this. How does somebody go from that? It seems to be like, even though we know the NFL is filled with a bunch of fucking, crazy monsters because everybody beats each other all day, but also like, it's just
Well,
weird
there
to go
are
from
some.
this job where you have to like be able to carry yourself in a very highly corporate world, and then something like this happens. It's you know.
And of course, when it comes to the NFL, there's no guarantee usually, and it's an extremely high stress job. But nonetheless, his father, Philip Adams' father, does say it was something to do with football. He said the football ruined my son. The CTE conversation is there, but I do have to say there's a lot of people with CTE. There's a lot of people with a lot of different brain issues that don't commit these crimes.
Yes.
And, when you get to the superstar level or when you get to the professional athlete level, they are really disciplined, and like the whole idea that they're like per capita crazier than normal people isn't true. But I don't even know what. Yeah, it's tough to make jokes on this one. It's just
Oh no, it's not. It's just it's one of those I would like to see if there's a follow up to this about what the state of his brain was.
And I don't know if he shot himself I don't know if he shot himself in the head or not, but even if he did, I guess we should probably be able to know if it's all weird. I also got into a YouTube hole of what happens when you actually get shot through the brain. And that was kind of scary because
it is scary.
There's a lot of different things. Did you know the bullet, if it's from a far enough distance with a handgun, can ricochet and just go all around your brain like it's on a gravitron and just goes on the circumference of your skull, and then it lands on top of your head like a little cherry on top? And they know if it did that because they open you up and they're like, oh, there's the bullet.
I remember that from the movie My Blue Heaven. There's a movie. It's the My Blue Heaven.
Is that what that movie's about?
But there's a scene in it where he talks. He's like full of shit, but in jail, he's just like, my buddy, you like the 22 because he used to put up against a guy's head, and what he liked about it is that the little bullet, when it go inside the head, bounced all around, turning a guy's brains into soup. And it's like that. That's how I know that factoid from that very unknown movie.
My goodness, that doesn't seem
Hey, Kissel, this is from that movie. What's the difference between a pregnant woman and a light bulb?
Ooh, what's the difference between a pregnant woman and a light bulb? You can't unscrew a light bulb.
You can unscrew a light bulb.
Oh, yeah, I said it wrong. Yes, you can unscrew a light bulb. Yes. Yeah, but I think that's
from that movie.
Did they write it by what they saw on popsicle sticks? Because isn't that that's like a pretty old joke, isn't it?
It was funny. In the movie, I like this movie. And I honestly think that movie got a lot of flack. But that movie is that's a Zabrowski family movie we loved. But Steve Martin and Rick Moranis as the FBI agent, that's a combo you can't beat.
I'm with you. My family's movie, we were Christmas Vacation. We were a Christmas Vacation family.
Oh, absolutely. Natalie and I talk about how we're the neighbors in our neighborhood all the time. The two, goth family neighbors with their shiny silver suits on.
But you're also the two making the loudest noise, because I remember when Natalie put up her unbelievably great rig, because she's very athletic. She does all the rope training, and they were very concerned that you were going to be like the road manager for AC/DC. And they were like, are you guys going to have rock concerts in your backyard? And you got a lot of phone calls. And literally, I know you don't live in an HOA, but they were about to form one to kick you guys out.
Guess what, though? They can come for my fucking dead body. If they want to come in this house, they can pull me out of this house fucking kicking and screaming if they want to come for me.
You know, if you were a dog, Henry, despite the fact you're Polish, you would be a Chihuahua. Because you're very territorial, you're tiny.
I am.
But
I love who I love.
You love who you love. And so don't be on the wrong side of Henry, and don't be on the wrong side of a Chihuahua. This next story is just super cute.
This is one of those viral stories that came out, but it is really cute because Natalie also showed it to me. This is it's very, very cute. People are trying to get this Chihuahua adopted, and it is not friendly.
No, it is not friendly whatsoever. So this went viral on Twitter. There's a Chihuahua named Prancer. It's being deemed a demonic Chihuahua. Some people have said it is a Chucky doll inside of a dog's body. And it seems like no one wants to take care of it. So Prancer's current foster owner shared a post this past week here on April 7th of the 2-year-old puppy. And the dog, let's just say, has a lot of character. This is what she wrote. She says, I've tried for the last several months to post this dog up for adoption and make him sound palatable. Not even like lovable, just palatable, just so you can handle it. And she goes on to say, the problem is he's just not. There's not a very big market for neurotic, man-hating, animal-hating, children-hating dogs that look like gremlins.
But he's so cute. I like his little gremlin face. I love this breakdown too. Prancer came to me obese, wearing a cashmere sweater with a bacon and egg cheese stuffed in his crate with him. I should have known in that moment this dog would be a problem. He was owned by an elderly woman who treated him like a human and never socialized him. Sprinkle in a little genetic predisposition for being nervous, and you've concocted a neurotic mess, aka Prancer. His first week, he was too terrified to have a personality. As awful as it sounds, I kind of liked him better that way. He was quiet and just laid on the couch. Didn't bother anyone. I was excited to see him come out of his shell and become a real dog. I'm convinced at this point he is not a real dog, but more like a vessel for a traumatized Victorian child that now haunts our home.
The woman that is writing this she is going a little bit bloggy with it. It's still just a Chihuahua. They are
it's
bad.
Cute, but you know, like I get it because Wendy bonds to Natalie, right? We have a Chihuahua, and I can see it. This dog only chooses women and cannot stand men in any way, shape, or form.
It doesn't seem like it can stand this woman either. Also, can you imagine? Knock, 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 knock. Doggy delivery, and it's a little Chihuahua, and he's got his little bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich, and he's just like, I'm just moving in. I think,
but he's very, very fat. You have to be very, very careful about the obese animals, especially when they're small, because it's very bad for their little organs.
Oh, and now there's a meme with the Chihuahua that says he's 50% hate and 50% tremble. That's horrible. He just needs
leave
love.
These Chihuahuas alone.
So please adopt this Chihuahua if you can. If you don't have kids, probably if you're single, and it seems like a female is probably needed for this Chihuahua, maybe because it was abused by a male or whatever it might be. Sometimes dogs just, they like what they like, and maybe this dog was totally pampered. Who knows? Either way, so adopt Prancer. You never know what you're going to get. And no matter what,
don't know.
Remember, when you adopt a dog, that dog is yours, and you can never return it. Unless it bites your child.
Then that's a whole system that
then
you have
that's
to put
a whole
the dog
thing.
into.
Did your dog
be over-policed?
I remember when my dog, when Polar Bear, he nipped a neighbor, and then my neighbor was like super sad, but he was a little bitchy kid. I never liked that kid. And then my parents were like, "Oh no, we're gonna have to put him down." And then I cried, and then I ran with Polar Bear to the woods for about an hour until I got hungry and came back.
Sure, nobody should be. If a tiny little nip. You can't put a dog down for a tiny nip. A dog's an animal.
Kids are annoying. They grab the dog's
kids are bad.
paws.
They don't know.
They don't
know how to handle a dog unless you train them or they know what it's like to be around a dog. I think the way a dog should be put down is if it rips the dick off a fucking beloved actor. Or if it attacks many, many people in a row. Like if it's one of those where if it's an uncontained animal and it's been trained to kill, I would say then it's hard. It's hard to bring them back.
If you have like Jean-Claude Van Paw, then yes, that's dangerous if you teach it the art of martial arts. But my God, most dogs, you just got to give them a little bit of love, and then they're going to be okay.
Give them room.
How about this idea? Take the guy who fucked Elmo. Take Demon Dog, because Demon Dog, let's be honest, it's probably got to go to the penitentiary. Board them together. Oh, all of a sudden he's so aroused by plush animals, but now this Chucky...
he's going to fuck the dog.
No, he's going to get beat up by the dog every day. He's going to sit in the corner.
He comes to have sex with him.
Now all of a sudden the man is ballless. After day 3, he's dickless, earless, noseless.
Wow.
He slowly dies.
This is the solution.
Can you imagine? If that... I did just watch the entire Chucky series, and that was a deleted scene where a person breaks in and has sex with Chucky when he has to pretend to be a doll, and just the one tear out of...
Can you imagine that? That's actually a really good deleted scene. I actually really like that idea of like Chucky being like, it was never supposed to happen to me. Oh my God.
Rise from your grave.
This next story is I cannot believe that this story is real. Okay. And I want this story. I cannot believe that this story is real, and I really want to see this fucking movie. This is legit, and I couldn't love it more.
Okay. 5
hitmen jailed after each hired the other to carry out murder that was never committed. This is incredible. This comes from The Independent. 6 people have been jailed after they each hired another hitman to carry out a murder that was never committed. Tan Yuhui, a real estate developer, hired a hitman to kill a business rival for 2 million yuan. Right? This is in China.
Yes, which is about
However,
$220,000.
However, that hitman then subcontracted the work to another hitman, who passed it on to another hitman.
Oh my
who apparently
God.
then gave it to another hitman who employed another hitman who in turn engaged yet another hitman. And then that last one, instead of carrying out the hit, went to the man that he was supposed to kill and asked him, will you help me fake your death? Then we will split the money.
It is so convoluted. I'm getting the feeling none of these people want to kill anyone at all. And
Look
isn't
at the-
that
and how
bad?
the-
Do
I
the
can't
job
believe this.
that you say you're going to do, or change the job that you have.
There is no such thing as a hitman. You have to kill your own people. I'm just going to say that it comes down to you have to kill your own people. So listen to this shit. Tan hired a guy to kill a man named Mr. Hui, right, for the 2 million yuan. That hitman, he contracted another assassin that he said, I'll give you 1 million yuan. So half of what I have for you to do it for me. And then that's up front. And then I'll give you 1 million yuan in completion of the hit. So basically, I get to keep 20,000. I get to keep like 20,000 yuan on my own.
Yes,
right?
I think it's yen with that money there. But
God.
So either way,
I don't think it's yen. No, Japanese is yen.
I don't know.
Japanese is yen. This is yuan. I don't think if we're pronouncing it correct, right? But the next one is said, okay.
All I know is that the Canadian $1 bill is called a loon. That's the only foreign currency that I know.
Basically, to put it, each one agreed to give the next one only half of what they have in order for them to do the thing. When they finally got to the guy that talked to the victim, he said, okay, listen, what I need you to do is let's just fake this. The victim said, okay, and he joined in on the plot.
Whoa!
And he agreed, and he posed with his hands bound so then Ling could claim the fee. Like, they took a picture of him and like, okay, act like you're killing me.
Okay, who had the 220,000? Who had the 2 million before? The first guy. Okay, so now how has this money become diluted between 6 people? There is no money anymore. Like
I don't know.
It
is by the end. It was like 10,000 pot. It was 10,000 pounds by the very end, essentially.
And this is so bizarre because there is a photo of them in court. They are wearing a tan. They're just everything is gray. Everything is sad. They're wearing shorts. They're all standing there in front of the magistrate, handcuffed. Real estate developer and the others were all sentenced to 5 years in prison. The hitmen were given sentences between 2 and 4 years. So yeah, it looks like the dude who started it got double the time of every other idiot that he tried to bring into the fold, which I guess makes sense. And I suppose it's a good story. This is why it's a comedy, because nobody's dead.
Nobody died. Nothing happened. It was just this series of events. This is an episode of fucking Three's Company, but with fucking hitmen.
Yeah. Well, either way, again, it's never a hitman. It's always an FBI informant.
It's never a
And
hitman.
if you want somebody dead, the best form of revenge is success. So
Living
bust
well.
your ass, living well, and then drive by their house or with your new bicycle and
or you find out where they live. You know what we could do? Find out where he lives. Go to the deli, get the Tom Cruise special, get a bunch of those fucking big whole fish. Go wait for them to leave their house.
Tom
crawl
Cruise
in
is
their
going to come
crawl
after
space,
you. There is no evidence that he has sex with fish, but
except for the fish. Talk to these fish. You take these fish, you put it up underneath the house, the floorboards. That's a good way to get at somebody too. But you got to watch them for a while and find out what their schedule is. Or steal their mail, burn it. That's another thing you can do.
we used to do a lot of different tampering when we were kids. Be safe.
It's a federal crime.
It is a federal crime. And the one thing we learned from the John Wayne Gacy documentary is it used to be a lot easier. People used to do a thing called disappear, but they can't anymore. So you're going to have to outsmart them. Maybe go Who's Harry Crumb route, cut the brake fluid on the car, but does that even exist anymore? Also, they'll probably know because the car will be like intruder. It's tough. You got to think outside the box. The best way to do it, Probably push him off a mountain.
Pose as their wife on Facebook, create a fake account as their wife, pretend like you're cheating on him, right? So you seed all this stuff, create Tinder profiles of the person you're trying to get revenge's significant other, create it, and then just start proliferating it, just sending all this kind of stuff. There's so many ways to get revenge as that murder.
Yep, absolutely. Well,
I will say, I looked this up. I'm not going to get into a detail this episode because we did aliens last episode, but there is a legit another UFO piece of footage that came out, which is a gigantic pyramid UFO, which is the shit that they've been talking about for a year. They're saying this picture of this pyramid UFO is going to come out, and the Pentagon has confirmed officially that it is real.
Okay.
It is a leak, but I also don't know what the hell it means when the Pentagon finally admits that something is real, because then it comes down to it. They will never come out of something with a losing arrangement. Whatever it is that they're doing it to forward some agenda from the inside. So them coming forward and saying, yes, this pyramid picture that has been leaked is real, somehow plays into whatever the hell it is that they want anyway. But it's very compelling footage. Compelling footage.
It is, and you have to wonder all the smoke screens going on around us and how interesting it is that disclosure has just sort of rolled out. It's here, and yet no one cares.
Because you can't believe it.
But
because you can't believe these people.
A few people do, rather.
Because you have to be highly critical of anything that comes out of Washington DC.
Absolutely.
You have to look at it and understand, like, well, there are many vectors at work here. It's not just, oh, this leaks. Like, because there might be a fucking tack that says that the government is trying to be quote unquote transparent about this, because it's like the one thing that they can be transparent about without getting all of the political blowback that they want. That, like, they're finally like, see, look, we're clear on this. We're clear, and then, they are still probably full of shit. They've been full of shit up to this point. So why would they all of a sudden be like good guys?
Well, and speaking of full of shit, great segue, Henry. That goes to this next story out of Edgewater. This fella, there's a mugshot of him. He's balding. He has a shirt on that says Redneck Nation with an AR-15 over his breast pocket. The man looks as if he is someone who is a sovereign citizen, which of course is great in theory, but in practice, it can also lead to a lot of trouble. He was pulled over in Culver County for speeding. Evidently, he was not too happy with that. He told the cops, "You have
like my car's my own country. My country travels at whatever speed is the rules inside of my country, and to me, that is 75 miles per hour."
That's basically what he was saying. He was telling the cops to get the fuck away from me, give me the fucking ticket. The cops are like, "Okay, well, I don't think that's going to work out." So they ask him to exit the vehicle. He exits the vehicle, and again, talk about privilege. We see what's going on in Minneapolis in a similar situation. This man is at the very least
alive. This guy just gets to walk out of his car. He just gets to do fucking whatever. I don't get it, except for the fact that it's white power gangs have taken over every single police department.
Well, certainly Minneapolis has a lot of work to do on that front, and hopefully change is near, because it must be. So this dude, he's pulled over and he's getting all livid. He has a little knife. The deputies pull him out of the car. He kind of tries to stab a deputy, but it doesn't really work. So then he's put on the corner, and he's sitting there in handcuffs. And it's when he is in handcuffs, he takes a big old dump in his shorts. And now this dump in the shorts, he starts digging around like a truffle hog.
A weapon.
It becomes a weapon. So he's digging around in his own asshole, grabbing his own human shit, putting it all over his hands, and then he attempts to smear it all over the cops.
And he didn't somehow get shot.
Isn't that interesting?
In this scenario, I don't get it.
No, as a matter of fact, a jail van responded to the scene and transported Sahovich, that's his name, to the Calvert County Detention Center, where he was booked for speeding, disorderly conduct, resisting arrest, and being covered in human shit.
Is that a crime in this country?
I think
being covered with shit's a crime in this country. I thought that this was a free place.
You can be covered in shit, but I think if you're covered in shit and start running after people in the town square, being like, "Hello, come and get your dookie hug, come and get your dookie hug," then I think it becomes a crime.
Half of art then has to be a crime.
Well, I think if you walk into the museum, you're complicit. and therefore part of the art. If you are, I don't need, like if Yoko just started singing, Yoko Ono, if she started singing on the street, I would try to press charges. But if I go to the Met and I see her sing, I did that to myself. So
if you go to the Mr. Dookie Man exhibit at Met,
yes.
You probably would have to sign a release though that says I not only am okay with shit getting on me, but that is his artistic expression. I hope to get shit on me.
I completely agree. So Adam Paul Sohovich, Adam Paul Sohovich, yeah, just maybe don't speed so much. Also, don't cover yourself.
Don't attack the police.
In human shit.
And also, I don't know how he lived through this scenario. And that seems to be the big problem here.
Yeah, he tried to grab a knife, and you can imagine. So, but speaking of comments, it is very interesting because some people. This is one comment from Jeff Thompson. On behalf of the human family, my sympathies to the police. This piece of shit is clearly a lawless, hating, maladjusted Democrat. Again, he is wearing a T-shirt that says Redneck Nation with an AR-15 on it. I don't know if he is a Democrat exactly, but that is the glory of comments.
Oh my God. Yeah. Looking at the comments just below are just so choice because everybody's so
another
fucking
person,
stupid and broken.
Anne Marie Graham says, "Don't be so quick to judge. It's possible this man was having a psychotic episode." Yeah,
really?
It is.
Yeah, it is possible.
It is possible. And
well, what are you going to do with these guys? Also, don't look up this story. We almost got fooled. The Florida's Amy Poehler with the stripper shooting pussy juice all over everybody. It's wrong. It's not real, but we wanted it to be real.
Sometimes when things are too good to be true, they are just that. I have that experience every time the mugshot of the goth guy with the big, with the eyeshadow on. They are always like, he's an undertaker and he found a bunch of babies and he killed a bunch of people. Gosh, you can't get any real news around here, can you?
We can't anymore. But you know what's real? The hero of the week is real.
It is real. All right, let's do hero of the week. Kind of out of left field or right field in this case, perhaps, but I am giving hero of the week to the LSU frat brothers who paid off a mortgage of their lovely cook after 30 years. So they gave Jessie Hamilton, she was their cook, I guess, at the house for a long time. They treated her well. That's what she says. They paid her $51,000 ahead of her 74th birthday in celebration of all of her hard work. And they dubbed April 3rd Jessie Hamilton Day. This is what she had to say. She says, "They were my kids. They still are. They used to tell me they loved me, and now they proved it." During her time at the Fiji House from 1982 to 1996, Hamilton, a single mother of three, would start her days at 4 a.m. to get a camp, and they would give her, oh my God, she just did everything for these people. And she says, "I enjoyed doing it. They loved my cooking. I was always there to talk things through with them. They'd come in the kitchen and sit on top of my counter and tell me their problems." So this woman is hero of the week, along with the LSU frat bros who paid off her home mortgage. But it is just.
Do you think that they still, just for the sake of it, went in there and played Ookie Cookie like one last time?
I am not going to malign all of the Greek society, but yeah, it's possible. I am like this so is our house. I don't want to be an asshole on it. I just never did the frat thing, and if you need to do the frat thing good, that's fine.
Well,
I just never understood it.
It costs too much money. It's why I didn't join UCB, because I didn't believe in paying money for friends, which now I didn't realize was a massive mistake in terms of your career. But that's because that's what everybody does, because they learned it from the secret schools. They learned it from Skulls and Bones, and literally the Illuminati system just crept its way into show business and just in general the entire world. And so everybody knows you have to pay to play no matter what. It's called the American curse. But the LSU system, like they did something nice.
They did something nice, and that's what matters, because everyone can do something nice. And I know cultures are changing across the board, and and
the frats are trying to clean up. I just don't know how much you can inherently clean up. I mean, because it's not about being bad. It's just like they could still be. They're still binge drinking and fucking making each other suck each other's dicks and stuff like that. But that's fun. That's like what frats do. That's what they're supposed to do.
To me, it was always the monetization of friendship. That was the thing that I was like, why would I pay for friends? But again, some people like more structure in their lives, and I think that works for perhaps type A personalities or something. Nonetheless,
or if you're a legacy, if you come from a long line of people that are into frats and then that's like a part of your family, that seems to be a big deal. And again, yeah, if you like seeing a bunch of guys' cocks, I mean, you're like, that's like of a thing that I think it's great. I think that if you like them, that's great.
All right. Well, the FSU frat boys and Jesse Hamilton, the cook who provided inspiration, and you know what? Honestly, she's a black woman. It's great, like that. I'm sure she gave some really good guidance and helped out a lot of people. So Jesse Hamilton, along with some of those FSU boys, congratulations, you're hero of the week. Help each other out.
And honestly, and I know we'll receive emails, but I just want to say to our frat brothers out there, fucking just go get it.
Just have fun. Just be safe. Be nice. And it's all about connections. But then again, in life, human interactions don't necessarily have to have a price tag.
Not necessarily, no. I would like to read a couple of listener letters. We asked a lot of questions about stalking last week, and I got a lot of different responses. And it seems to be because we talked about how difficult it is to create a paper trail, the paper trail that you need to create in order to show that someone's stalking you, and how to talk to some form of like whether you want to talk to the police or not. I don't know.
Yeah, it's scary.
Here's this letter. I previously worked in a pre-trial release office for a city jail and now work court program administration. Think managing court-ordered classes for nonviolent offenders. I've been digging through the nitty-gritty details of police reports for 10 years, and I also previously processed emergency restraining orders. In my state, stalking is defined as someone knowingly and purposefully disturbs another person, causes fear, intimidation, or emotional distress in a reasonable person.
Okay.
This is only a misdemeanor unless the defendant has prior convictions for similar offenses. Then it's a low-level felony with a maximum sentence of 4 years prison time. If there are specific threats made or there has been an order of protection served and the defendant has priors, then it bumps up to a maximum of 7 years prison. Needless to say, there has to be a significant paper trail for these cases to be successfully tried. And it's incredibly difficult for victims to get that paperwork going because you need to know a lot of personal details to get a restraining order. Most importantly, an address where the defendant can be served. Also, the majority of the time, you don't get a full order and you have to wait 3 to 6 weeks for a court date. If you don't make the court date as the petitioner, the case is thrown out. If there is not a documented pattern of behavior, many judges will not issue the order.
I have a question, Henry, and I don't know if this is in the email. We can just toss this up to further along the conversation. Side stories, lpotl@gmail.com. If you do file, do they know immediately, and then do they have 4 to 6 weeks to kill you?
Yeah, you're supposed to find a place for them to go get served.
Isn't that a little bit scary there?
It's very scary.
Wouldn't that accelerate in some cases the stalking?
Of course. It's very, very scary. This listener also said the National Center for Victims of Crime has a lot of great resources, so you should look it up. Also, because that is a spot where you could probably figure out a little bit more about what's going on in your own specific state.
You know, it's interesting. As difficult as it is to get away with murder, and I know Henry and I were like, we had careers planned.
No body, no murder.
That doesn't really work anymore. That doesn't really work anymore because there's a whole bunch of trace DNA and all that stuff. But you know what crime has certainly gotten easier as opposed to murder is stalking.
Yes.
Be careful what you post. I say this as I post pictures all the time of me, but it's mostly my lap with Jerry sitting on it. But
we have mostly sacrificed our privacy up to a point because we are performers.
Right.
Anybody else, unfortunately, we advertise where we are all the time, and not unfortunately because we want you to come see us. We want you to be able to we want to do comedy for you. Absolutely. But it opens us up to this type of crime specifically, and it is very, very easy. Here's another email. This is from a real attorney. This is a family law attorney in St. Louis. This is also a special prosecutor for order of protection violations. Since orders of protection usually involve domestic abuse between partners, this falls into the family law realm more so than the criminal. So we often go against criminal attorneys as prosecutors, which provides a rare but interesting clash between the two styles. Basically, when someone is doing something to threaten or harass you, you can get a temporary restraining order against them, especially if you've don't have any relationship with them. The courts usually feel that if you don't have a child together, you don't need to be around each other if there are any issues of abuse. So courts will order them more frequently than you may think.
Okay.
Once the restraining order is in place, if the respondent violates the term of that order, usually 300 to 500 yard stay away order and no contact, then it gets sent to us, who can sentence up to 6 months in jail per violation, although we rarely do and typically pursue rehabilitation when possible. Putting together a case is very difficult, especially now since it's usually cyber stalking harassment.
Yeah. Oh, interesting.
But the standard of proof is not as high as beyond a reasonable doubt used in criminal trials, making it easier to prove things. So before you ask that it's constitutional, because the sentence is under 6 months at most, you can absolutely bust someone for scaring you. In fact, it's more of an issue to not get busted if someone thinks you're scaring them. We have many cases brought to us that are frivolous as well. But that's what they said, to make sure that you get all the documentation going. And I had another email, I'll just kind of sum up, that's from a defense attorney that mostly worked with people that did stalking offenses. And they said they had to stop working these cases because stalkers, the one thing about stalkers, like the main contingent of thought seems to be the worst is when they don't actually know that they've done something wrong and they think that they have not done something wrong, and they have worked it out in their own mind. They've created a validation of why what they're doing is not wrong, because normally it's mental illness completely unchecked.
And you know who I blame for that? John Cusack. Say anything? You got a boombox outside of my door? Roxanne, Steve Martin, your boy Roxanne, Rapunzel. This idea has permeated itself through our culture. But the truth is...
Kissel, though, if it's, what's her name from the WWE that you like?
Which one?
That one hot one. There's many hot ones. Let's say it's the hottest one.
I like Io Shirai.
But if she's out there with the boombox, you'd ask her in.
I think that there is a massive difference between that and although it's still, honestly though, if I open my curtains, no, you know what? It'd still be scary. It would still be scary.
Really?
Yeah. A little bit.
Okay.
Just a bit. All right.
Yeah, it'd be a lot.
Anyway, be safe and
please be safe.
The whole thing is so scary and the horror is so real. So if you are stalking someone right now, stop.
Give up.
You
just stop now.
They'll come. I promise you, if you're a woman stalking a man, if he likes you, he will go to you. And if a woman likes a man, they will let you know.
They'll let you know. They'll let you know if they like you or not. They will. It's not going to be ambiguous.
I promise.
Just make sure that you just stop doing that.
All right. Well, be safe out there, everyone. Is that
live your life only paying attention to yourself and your own life and your family's life? I think that's important. The opposite of stalking. Stalk yourself. Don't you want to stalk yourself and give yourself some love? Give yourself the kind of thing that if you were a stalker, love yourself as a stalker would. Go in there, buy yourself a couple of gifts, write yourself a creepy note and leave it on your car.
That's actually a nice idea.
Do it for yourself and then laugh at your own jokes because, everybody's tired of it because been in fucking quarantine for a year. But guess what? Someone's got to laugh at your jokes. So put up a mirror in front of your desk and laugh at yourself as you were. And then it's like you're being stalked inside of your own home, and is it nice to feel appreciated?
I think that is a fantastic idea, Henry. Why have windows when you can have mirrors? Yeah, your house will be a bit of a house of horrors. But you know what? That's your house. And that's
your house.
You are stalking yourself. You know what, Henry? You have stumbled upon just something great. Take care of yourself. And as I've said before, and I've said this, I think, the past 10 years, do not fuck any Elmo dolls.
Leave them alone. Leave them the fuck alone.
Any dolls in general.
I know that we had covered this person who said that they have a sexual predilection for it, but buy your own supply then.
That's it.
It's got to be yours.
Exactly. It's got to be yours. And honestly, to help the toy industry, why not?
Also, just keep it in your house for the love of fucking Christ. Unless you're being paid for it on camera.
Well, that would still be in your house, though, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but get paid for it. Oh God.
I love the casting couch videos of Elmo when he sits there and then they say, turn around.
Oh, yeah.
Bend over, grab your hips.
Elmo's a child.
Elmo's like 50 years old now. Also, the man who played Elmo got in a bit of trouble. But anyway, all right, everyone, hail yourselves.
Hail safe.
Magustalations.
Hail me.
Be safe, be safe, be safe.
Be safe. This show is made possible by listeners like you. Thanks to our ad sponsors. You can support our shows by supporting them. For more shows like the one you just listened to, go to lastpodcastnetwork.com.